3-1 win to the Melbourne Knights. How they would love to repeat that performance. Bentleigh Greens chasing the title at the moment. It's a very difficult away trip to them. So, on this Friday night, decent weather, crowd still making its way in. Ante Jukic joins me on FFV Radio. Ante, thoughts on the match in prospect and the chances for both teams tonight?
Oh, good evening to yourself, Teo. Good evening to everyone out there in Radio Land. The last fixture between Knights and Bentleigh was a bit of an interesting one, considering how emotionally charged it was for the Knights. Now with their change in manager, Bentleigh now 4 matches undefeated. It's going to be interesting to see how the two teams approach this one.
Certainly is. Melbourne Knights are going to be kicking off, attacking the left of your radio dial in the first half, and Bentleigh Greens in their green home kit tonight. Even though they are on the road, they will be attacking to the right of screen or the quarry end, and Melbourne Knights to attack the social club's end. For those of you familiar with the ground, Lachlan Keevers is tonight's referee. It's one of 2 matches in PlayStation 4 NPL Victoria this evening that will keep you across, and that whistle gets us underway as Melbourne Knights start the game out to the left flank, and it's a long ball into the penalty area and dealt with by Jack Webster of the Bentleigh Greens. And now Timmy Purcell boots it into touch and out. So, Ante, it's Eric Vassiliadis to a 1-on-2. Well played by Dazelle to win the ball initially, but it's taken an unfair or unkind deflection, and now there's nothing unfair about it. It was just unkind, and third biggest targets as we stay with play. Brennan into the area, almost snicked off his toes by Desic, but he flicks it back to Litfin, and the shot had no power behind it. Chalmers down to make the save. And then Avondale fourth. Falling over on the ball, Purcell. And then he tried to stop the ball and stop Brennan. He couldn't. Brennan cuts it back, and Holmes' shot wasn't on the target. Brennan's follow-up has no power behind it. And Cam Sober into the box. Dazelle blocked off his toes and deflecting up into the arms of Scott, who didn't need to make much of a save. Run. Wants to turn onto his right foot, swings in the cross, and it's going to find Brennan at the far post, and his first touch let him down. Out of the area, glove on, and it was a high cross turn shot floating over the bar, but Andy Brennan's first touch had been so good on a number of those high diagonal balls. On that occasion, it abandoned him, and the chance fell apart. Put the ball down the right, it's blocked clear. Andy Brennan takes the ball on halfway, breaks clear of Suri, now wheels around Gerhardt. One more defender to challenge, and it's Purcell. So it would take quite the hit to beat Chalmers, who's waiting next to his right-hand post. Rutherford does drive it low and wide to the left and is able to buy his team a corner. Holmes lines up his run-up. Strikes it right-footed. Over the head of all in the penalty area bar. Rutherford heads it back into the mixer. It's falling at the far post. Webster's shot cleared off the line. Brennan's into the crossbar and out. Over on the left side, Honos. Edge of the box for Bentleigh, deflected cross, finds Litfin, he's looped it high, and it goes down as a shot on target. It was falling on the goal line, and Chalmers able to hold, even though Thurtell was advancing.
So Bentleigh got away with it in that little passage there. Bentleigh is a very hard-working and disciplined side. They're able to get back in numbers very quickly there, and here's a foul.
Pack of players waiting at that right post. Rutherford goes to the near post, and it bounces through the box indeed, but no one can get a touch. Bar Gerhardt, who put it behind for a corner. Tyson Holmes lines up a corner from the right. Swinging it to the far post. Rutherford rises for the header. Straight into his own man. Chalmers flew. And now volleyed into the top left. How about that from Pilkington? He went down to the ball. And his left-footed volley sweetly into the top right corner. How about the technique from Pilkington? He's made it Bentleigh Greens 1, Melbourne Knights 0. And in that situation, you do not expect the player essentially going to ground to be able to generate that sort of force, but it's exactly what he did. Melbourne Knights stunned, and Bentleigh Greens, for all the chances they'd created. Over the head of Dazelle. Eric Vassiliadis standing with his hands in his pockets. Foul in midfield.
Was naughty from Suri.
Tyson Holmes on the end of it, no stranger to the rough stuff himself. And a yellow card, the first of the night for Ben Suri, coming in the 38th minute. Turns the ball into the path of Brennan. Back to Honos. Now in a central position, a long way from goal. He's driving it, and it takes a good save to parry it around the post from Chalmers. Chance to reassess against this Bentleigh team. Holmes, this time it was his boot raised. And even though he was first to the ball, he's given away the foul because of the way he went in for it. And calls for a reciprocal yellow as it was Holmes who was fouled earlier in the night for the only booking of the game. Referee decides that this foul on Desic won't be met with the same sanction.
Despite the characteristically vociferous calls from the Knights faithful.
But, oh, hang on. It has
been.
There
we go.
Late call from Lockie Keepers, but maybe that is not the worst shout given the way he did go in with his foot raised. So almost at half-time, and Tyson Holmes will have to be careful for the rest of the evening. He's booked in the 44th minute first for his team tonight. Holmes against the touchline. We've played the minute of stoppage. And indeed, the first half ends with Luke Pilkington's goal. The difference between the teams here at Knights Stadium. It is Melbourne Knights 0, Bentleigh Greens 1. Ante Jukic, the final word, please.
For the most part, have been disjointed in possession, and whether they're going to be able to create anything to threaten Bentleigh is questionable.
Respect. Rutherford, is he tempted by the corner? He's not. He's looking for a teammate. Gerhard heads it down. Thurtell with a fairly clumsy leap for the ball, and he knew that Ben Suri was waiting underneath his descent. Team that, as we see, Thurtell with a flick header is wide of the target and out for a goal kick, but Oakley were a team that were very legitimately in the discussion for 12th place in the playoff spot after they were beaten by St Albans. But I wish it was something. I wish it was something more scientific than that. We've just gone the old switcheroo. Here's Brennan through the right side. What a goal! What a time that would have been to score.
Oh, wow.
And Chalmers bails me out of an embarrassing highlight by making the save. Thank you, Fraser Chalmers.
Green Gully are a quality side here, and that's
forcefully hit back pass and a loose touch from Chalmers. He goes in feet first with a slide tackle and then dives on the ball. Tyson Holmes couldn't quite catch the ball on the right sort of deflection to put it in the net, and Chalmers is able to recover. I think for Gullies that, as we see the ball on the right here, Brennan swings the ball in, parried away by Chalmers. Now at the edge of the area, Desic has got to be careful, and it's waved away.
Wow.
Holmes was legged, arguably. Maybe he saw the opportunity to go charging into a defender.
On first glance.
I think as Pilkington wins the ball off Danny Dixon. Bentleigh stay on the march.
Knights really under pressure here.
Honos into the box. Wide to the left, cuts it to the near post, and Thurtell just couldn't free his feet to get a shot on goal.
Goodness.
Brennan able to deflect the clearance out to the right. Bentleigh have got Melbourne Knights pinned in the defensive third, and then Brennan gives away a rather cheap foul by grabbing the shirt of Cam Sober, and now he's wasting a bit of time by picking up the ball.
Really finding the ball. He's doing a good job at this stage, putting the pressure on the Knights.
Brennan cutting in from the right. Andy Brennan, can he tee up a teammate? Patur knocks it down, and it's cleared away by Suri. Want to be going into that game on a downer as we watch Brennan veer in from the right side and blaze into the larger net behind the net he was aiming for. So, but could that be a factor as we see Matt Thurtell leave the game here? He's being subbed out for the new arrival, Dimi Hatsumuratis, who is coming on for the Bentleigh Greens here in the 69th minute.
Getting back to Churchill Reserve, the pitch itself has been a much more
maybe not a big one. Box Hill coming off a 5-4 win against Murray last week. We'll stay with Juricic breaking forward here for Melbourne Knights because he's into the attacking third. Sweeping
That's
ball.
A very good ball in.
Unmarked Cahill. Did he head it in?
Oh, wow.
The penalty's paid against Webster. Big moment coming up. Melbourne Knights able to find ample space, both on the right with Juricic, his cross to Cahill, who was unmarked, and Webster backtracking to come across and guard the attacker, handled the ball as it was nodded into his arm.
And as you were saying, Bentleigh weren't able to capitalise on the opportunity that was presented beforehand, and it left the Knights an opening here, and let's see if they take advantage of it.
And you can see why Bentleigh were pressing for that second goal, because all it takes is a little moment like this, as Webster gets himself a booking as well for the back chat outside the penalty area before he blows his whistle, and perhaps the turning point in the match. Here's Cahill, and even though it got a little bit of the keeper on the way through, it burst the back of the net, struck with power. Scott couldn't keep it out. Cahill scores, and it's Melbourne Knights 1, Bentleigh Greens 1. We're level.
Somehow. As as we'd already discussed before the penalty was taken, the Knights, the door was still ajar for them. They were able to find an opening here just for the mere fact that Bentleigh weren't able to capitalise on what they had generated beforehand, especially in the opening 10 minutes where the Knights were really under pressure.
Flag now. And now Suri on the ball. Plays it to Cam Sober. Gets his right foot free, but then skies the shot well out. Beulah. Whittlesea Rangers against Ballarat City. Northcote City against Melbourne Victory. Morgan Zebras versus Bendigo City rounds out NPL 2. And Tardio, again, the subject of a Pilkington foul, and this time he is unable to escape a booking. Cool Knight. Holmes at the penalty spot and didn't get a great deal of power behind the shot. Instead of a parry, it's a hold from Chalmers as he grips onto the ball with his feet. Over to the left side. Duzell shimmying out of a challenge, back into the attention of Dover.
Too much there.
And in the end it is a foul and a card.
Some naughty challenges from Bentleigh over the past couple of minutes here.
Kieran Dover came on with a bee in his bonnet and has got himself yellow carded. This weekend will have a game in hand. Ooh. And Webster fouled Cam Sober. Is this his second yellow? The referee's got the card out of the pocket. It's a red. Jack Webster is sent off at Knights Stadium. And this may well tip the balance in Knights' favour with 10 minutes to go. Cam Sober was floored, and Webster, who was booked, Cell is legged and fouled by an overzealous Andy Brennan. Andy Brennan will get himself a yellow card. At least I assume it's a yellow. It is out of the pocket for his role in flooring the Knights defender. So a bit of a delay here. We're into the last minute of regulation. The fourth official has already shown his hand. There will be 3 minutes. Archibald, bit of a loose touch, but was able to find its way to Rutherford. Now a high ball into the attacking half. Brennan trying to use his strength, holding off players. Referee lets it roll. Over to the right side. Hatzimaratis, edge of the box. Prods it through. Cut back. Tap in. Kieran Dover scores the winner for Bentleigh Greens. Extraordinary. With 30 seconds of stoppage time to go, Bentleigh Greens 2, Melbourne Knights 1. There was a question of handball in the build-up. It broke over to the right. Hatzimaratis crucial on his Bentleigh debut. And Kieran Dover off the bench with the simplest of tap-ins has surely taken all 3 points for the visiting team.
Looked like a good play of advantage from the referee there. Purcell looked to
the generosity of the referee now for Melbourne Knights. Cam Sober, he's not a beaten man just yet. The ball is nicked off his toes, and it's full time. Bentleigh Greens smash and grab at the finish. A game they thought they had in keeping, appearing to be falling out of their grasp with an equalising goal and a red card for Jack Webster, but the 10 men rallied and in the very last minute are able to take a 2-1 win. Bentleigh go to the top of the league, and it's over to you, Heidelberg, to respond. Ante Jukic, this is a heartbreaker for Melbourne Knights because they were level, they were against 10 men, they were creating chances, getting set pieces, and in the end Bentleigh smash and grab at the finish to get a 2-1 result.